It's now time for the Blown Call Show. All of today's important topics in the world of sports, wrestling, and entertainment, told from a uniquely Canadian perspective. And now, here is your host, Mike the Ref, on the Edmonton Sports Podcast Network.
Hello, folks, and welcome to episode 91 of the Blown Call Show. Yes, you heard it right. It is the Blown Call Show. I am Mike the Ref, senior engineer here at the Edmonton Sports Podcast Network on Thursday, September 7th. And no, you are not hearing things. I actually got enough time to get a new podcast put on here. Just been waiting patiently for the download of the Sounds of Struggle this week, as well as the Jobbing Out podcast. And I thought, hey, what the heck? I haven't done one of these in a long time here. So my main topic this week is going to be the good, bad, and ugly for the summer in terms of media involvement and things that media need to do better and things that media have overdone that they don't need to be doing. So it'll make a little more sense once we get into it here, folks. It's been a heck of a long time since I got the last podcast in here. For those that are wondering what I've been doing, if you guys check out the Edmonton Sports Podcast Network YouTube page, we do have CWC Evolution going full bore here. I am also working on some other projects that I will be discussing in the next upcoming weeks. Check out the end of the show here. I'll have a timeline for our special announcements coming up. We got 3 very special announcements coming. So, also engineering these other podcasts here has been taking up a lot of time here. So I haven't had a real chance to get my thoughts together in a organized podcast. So didn't want to give you guys some less than quality stuff here. So I felt better, you know what, focus on this great stuff that's been going on. And I'll be honest, I'm really impressed on what's happened with the Sounds of Struggle podcast, as it has really morphed into the flagship of Edmonton SPN here. So just finished watching the Chiefs beat up the Patriots. God, does that feel good as a Bills fan. We don't get to see that many beatdowns of the Patriots in terms of our division. So it's always good to see one to start off the season. I'd like to see what Belichick's response is going to be after this game, but I cannot wait. My Bills have the Super Bowl this Sunday when they take on the Jets, because realistically, it's the only team that I think we can beat this year. So let's go Bills! Hockey season's about to open up here with Oilers training camp starting up. The rookie game's coming up on the 13th, which I'm really looking forward to. As well as we're dead into the CFL season with the Eskimos having a little bit of an issue right now, winning 7 straight, now losing 3 in a row, going from first to third after a 3-game losing streak. And going into a epic matchup coming up this Saturday against the Calgary Stampeders. Now, a big boost to the Eskimos here has been the addition of Darrell Walker, who got cut late by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think he could have had a chance at the practice squad, but be it as it may, he's signed till the end of the season, and we got to be happy to have him in the lineup here, as he is the second lead receiver in the CFL last year. So, and only second to Adarius Bowman of the Eskimos as well. So can't wait for the rematch this Saturday, along with a whole bunch of other stuff. But before I get into my main topic, I got to bring it back serious here, folks. My biggest wishes, prayers, and good thoughts go to the victims of Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, and now Tropical Storm Jose is right on the verge of becoming a hurricane itself. The people in Houston have already been devastated by it. It looks like people in Florida are having the same issue as well. That's going to be coming up this weekend. I'm hearing winds as much as 250 miles per hour, which is insane if you ask me. And apparently 90% of Bermuda has been destroyed thanks to this last hurricane going through. So if you get a chance to donate and help out, please do. I know I have some friends that are down on both sides. I actually have a relative that lives in Miami full time, but has she's currently on vacation, thank God. But if you can help out, please do. I know what we're going to do on our end is anybody that picks up a piece of clothing from whatamaneuver.net from the Edmonton SPN page, any profits that are made off of that will go directly towards the hurricane relief efforts of both Irma and Harvey. I know that they haven't set up anything formally for Irma yet, but folks, just by basing on what's going on with it, I could see it coming. It's harsh and it's going to be severe, and they're going to need a lot of help. So please donate where you can. But let's get off that somber tone here and let's get to my main topic of the show, and that is the influence of media and the good, bad, and ugly of the summer here on the Blown Call Show on the Edmonton Sports Podcast Network. All right, folks, time for the main portion of the show, and I promised a few takes on a few things here, but my main topic is going to be the presence of the media and how the media can be used as a tool to promote and also discredit a few things here. But it lines up so perfectly with some of the things that have come up recently here in the sports and wrestling world. First one I want to start off with, I want to start with a positive note here, and I'm going to go back into late July, early August here. The Edmonton Prospects, the minor league baseball team in Edmonton here, hosted a playoff, 3 playoff series. I managed to get to the last game where they had a chance to clinch the league title against the Swift Current 57s. Now, I honestly feel there hasn't been enough marketing and enough buzz until the playoffs here when it comes to minor baseball in, across the country here, because this product was really good. Like, it's been the first time I've been to the ballpark in years in the River Valley in Edmonton. Great atmosphere. They've been averaging 1,700 fans a game, which is approximately, I believe what they said was about 400 or 500 more than the next place team in the league. I think they could get a lot more if a lot more of the mainstream media here would cover them. I have to say the amenities are great there. Seats were hell, I paid $20 and I got a box seat right behind home plate, so can't really argue too much about that. My only complaint through the entire time was I saw a couple kids that were almost knocked down a couple flights of stairs due to the way the setup of the concession line was, as they were set up in 4 lines right in front of the stairs coming up from the main entrance of the building. If they could set that up in a different way to make it a little more of a snake and have the lineup go in a different direction, it would be a lot easier for everybody and a lot more safer. But that's a minor detail here. The crowd was excellent. The game was great up until the I believe it was the 7th inning. We were right in it. Unfortunately, the only runs that the 57s got were off pitcher throwing errors on pickoff attempts, bunt clears, and it's going to be really tough to win a game when you have E1 on your scorecard more than once. I believe up until the 7th inning, they did not have an earned run, and they were tied 3-3. Kudos to the 57s for winning the title, but the one thing about the Prospects compared to every other team in the league, they focus on local talent. if you looked at Swift Current's roster, I think they had one person who was from Saskatchewan, while everybody but I believe two people on the Prospects roster were homegrown talents. So good on the Prospects. I'm actually going to probably look into getting some season tickets next year or get a few more tickets because it was a great experience. Managed to pick up a dog at, was it a dog, a popcorn, and a pop for $10. Good luck trying to find that at any other sporting event around here. So, congratulations to the Edmonton Prospects on winning the Western Division Championship and coming within a game of taking it all. And things are looking up and up for that team every year. They just got to keep growing, and it's got to be a little bit more exposure by the major media over a little bit more time here. And I know they do a lot of great things on Twitter. EDM Prospects is the Twitter account. If you are looking for it here, please follow them. They do a lot of multimedia stuff on there, and they do the best they can. It's just we got to find some way to get the word out, and hopefully I can help with that too. And I got a few ideas how we can help with that as well. So now, going on from there, I'm going to go to my bad now in terms of takes. And folks, it's time for me to get involved in this Mayweather McGregor whatchamadoo, all stupid and crazy. I'm not going to call it a fight. I'm going to call it a fiasco. This was, of course, I'm not going to say whether it's staged or not. There's only two people that actually know it for real, and they were the two in the ring. My take has always been on this fight and always will be on this fight. This was like a decathlete against a sprinter in a running contest. Both guys are trained in the basics on how to do it. One's just got a little bit more of an advanced skill level on it. So it makes sense that it broke down the way that it did. I found it a little ironic that in the 26th minute of the fight is when it ended, when most MMA championship matches go 25 minutes. But that's just a weird coincidence, I find. But the after effects of this, apparently the gate was the second highest ever in fight history instead of the largest. There was only 13,000 people in the stands. Made $55 million rather than the $90 million that they were expecting. And I'm saying good on the fans, good on the people. The only reason this got made as well as it did is because of the media, I find. The overhypeness of this fight, the showing of the special presentations on SportsCenter, on ESPN, on all the major networks, this kind of coverage, yeah, it was a big event, but cutting into regular broadcast time to show a press conference between two fighters, it just doesn't make sense to me. This fight, while it was, let's face it, it's intriguing. It's something a little different. It's not normal, but at the same time, it is something that I don't know. I find that it's not something that's that out of the ordinary. Everybody has a lucky chance when in the ring, especially somebody who does have some training in boxing. When you're dealing with an MMA fighter, especially now, one of my biggest pet peeves in MMA, and the reason why my viewing of MMA has gone down recently, is the fact that everybody's trained the same. Everybody's got a little bit of everything. It used to be certain pieces everybody would have, and then you'd have that clash of styles. But now everybody knows everything, at least a little bit of it, and little pieces here and there put themselves together, and that's when you get a fight. It's more about who can adapt to all skills better than what skill is the best. That's what attracted me to MMA in the first place, and it seems like that's gone by the wayside to a fair bit. I know there's a big UFC card here at Rogers Place in Edmonton this Saturday. And I hope it gets good numbers, but I know personally I'm not going to be watching. I believe Andre C is going to be covering it a little bit for the network here. So please feel free to listen to his reports. But as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to the hype over the Mayweather-McGregor fight, it just wasn't. It was part of the media that shouldn't have overblown it as much as they did. I know that everything involved. I'm sure that the promotions paid money to get on TV, so that's probably part of it. But all in all, in the end, I find it was a moneymaker for two people and not necessarily the best event in the world for all of us as viewers. Now it's time to get into the ugly. And folks, if you are a wrestling fan, I don't think it gets much uglier than what happened just a few days ago at Triple Mania for AAA in Mexico involving Sexy Star and Rosemary. For those that aren't in the know, essentially Sexy Star played up the end of the match with a arm bar, cross arm breaker to Rosemary. Rosemary tapped out, and then following that, immediately Sexy Star decided to wrench on it again and injured her shoulder or elbow, I believe. Basically, this is one of the biggest misnomers you can do as a wrestler. I've seen many wrestlers. A lot of wrestlers don't like each other. That's going to be like any workplace. You're going to have people that you don't get along with completely, and you still find a way to get the job done regardless. I don't want to get into the innuendo of how hard it was for certain promotions to deal with Sexy Star and whatnot, because it basically comes down to hearsay and a lot of talk about nothing. And I don't feel it's fair for people to get into speculation of stuff like that. Now, I know that I've had my run-ins on the local indie scene as well with a certain situation that happened. I'm not going to kid anybody. It is not even a quarter as severe as what happened down in Mexico there. But at the same time, to me, it felt like it passed standards that don't seem fair to everyone in terms of what is considered suitable in a wrestling ring or in a wrestling venue in the wrestling area. Now, I know everybody is coming out with their hate talk about her and want to make all these negative comments. The one thing I find the media needs to do, and one of the top things that has to be done in order for this situation to be resolved in a way that everybody wants it to, don't mention her. Don't talk about her. Say your piece, then forget about her. The more you talk about her, the more notoriety she gets, and more that less scrupulous people will pick up on this and find a way to use her as a cheap publicity stunt. If nobody wants to talk about her, nobody wants to discuss anything with her, then she's going to become irrelevant right away. It's very similar to my philosophy here when it comes to certain situations. If it becomes that bad, you just don't talk about it, whether it be positively, negatively, or whatnot. Some things just don't deserve the attention that the media can provide, and I find the best way to resolve a lot of these issues is just to let them go away. As much as you feel like you should be talking about them, sometimes discretion is the better part of valor. But that's going to wrap up my main portion of the show here. 3 hot topics that I wanted to talk about here. My next show, I'm going to be getting into a little bit more about some distributor controversies here in the NFL with the providers when it comes to digital support and NFL Sunday Ticket here in Canada. But I'm going to save that for another show here. Time for us to move on to the upcoming events that's coming up in just a moment. Just a reminder that the upcoming events is sponsored by the Edmonton SPN t-shirt store at whatamaneuver.net. Visit whatamaneuver.net for all the great designs. There are long sleeve shirts, there are t-shirts, there's hoodies, there's baby onesies. You got the Front Row Mafia design. You got the Danimal design. You also have the Struggle and OWE designs, which I can't believe those Struggle guys finally decided to join the light side, but that's another story for another day here, folks. But speaking of going to the light side, just a reminder for anybody that picks up a shirt in the month of September, any net proceeds from those shirts are going to go directly to the hurricane victims of both Irma and Harvey. So please make sure you pick up your shirts, and I will make sure that any profits coming in off those shirts are going to go directly to help people with these hurricanes blowing essentially their homes away and pretty much uplifting their entire lives. So, but with that, let's go to the upcoming events. All right, folks, time for our upcoming events here, and we have quite a stacked lineup coming up in September here. Coming up as soon as September 9th, this Saturday, you got the Canadian Wrestling Coalition All or Nothing show from Festival Hall in Red Deer. Now, we have the initial title defense of the Alberta champion, Dylan Stone, as he takes on Cato. This goes back to what happened at the end of the title Gauntlet Battle Royal Rumble, whichever way you want to call it, where Cato did attack Dylan Stone. Stone's willing to take on all challengers, and Cato loves gold to go with that lovely outfit he has. So, but the reason this show is called All or Nothing, it is the main event. It is Jack Pride taking on Chris Parrish. Now, if Jack Pride wins, he becomes the new CWC champion. But if Chris Parrish manages to defeat Jack Pride will lose one of his most prized possessions, his hair. Now, I know there's going to be special barbers on hand for this, but I really hope it doesn't come down to that. I know I've given Jack Pride a lot of grief here over the last few quick call shows, but he really doesn't deserve to lose his hair, even though looking like me is a bit of an improvement to a lot of people. So, but coming up this Sunday will be the next edition of CWC Evolution. We're going to go back 1 month to that Gauntlet Battle Royal and see how Dylan Stone became the champion. As well, you have the Shark Club taking on the Wrecking Crew in an epic tag team match. Make sure you check out the Edmonton Sports Podcast Network YouTube page or the CWC Facebook page for all the details on that. Now, normally this is just a wrestling episode, but let's interject a little bit of sports here because I am damn excited for this. Coming up this Wednesday, September 13th, it's the Edmonton Oilers rookies taking on the McEwen-Nate All-Star team from Rogers Place in Edmonton. I believe tickets are only $20, and you get to see the future stars in the NHL take on some of the top players in the collegiate and university ranks in Alberta right now. So that will be a great thing to see, and I'm probably gonna see if I can get some tickets myself and get down to it. Now, coming up on the 16th of September, the Saturday, we got a double dip of action in Alberta for independent wrestling here. Down in Lethbridge, you have the Pure Power Wrestling TLC Tables, Ladders, and Chairs show from the Fritz Sick Memorial Center in Lethbridge. The apropos TLC match will be for the Cruiserweight Championship between Cyanide and their champion Travis the Heat Copeland. Apparently this has been a very big feud between these two, and it's going to get settled in one of the craziest matches you can have in Alberta. And then as well, the Irishman gets a chance for more gold as he takes on Kyle Sebastian, known as the Future Legend, who won the title last show, pinning Massive Damage for the PPW Championship. So it is going to be an interesting card down there. But speaking of interesting, in Edmonton the same night, you got the Prairie Wrestling Alliance Fall Fever card from the Northgate Lions Senior Center. Now, that is going to be an epic card, I find. You got Brandon Van Danielson taking on I think it's the most polarizing wrestler of Edmonton SPN, Jeff Tyler, a newcomer from Saskatchewan. I know I support him 100%, and I know Andre doesn't, as well as Ryan and Amanda. They're basically MRB fans. That's why they don't support him. But I'll live that fight to another day here, folks. But as well, you have a very high possibility of a title changing hands here with the PWA Heavyweight Championship being defended by Michael Richard Blaze against the man that beat him last month in Edmonton, Sean Moore. Now, the Matt Messiah has been getting better and better every month, to take the words out of Brian, the Wrestling Mind Hamilton's mouth here. And ever since Alexander Prime has left him from being his tag team partner, the sky's the limit for this kid. And there is a very high possibility that Sean Moore could walk out with that championship, much to the chagrin of the Western Lions. And in terms of wrestling stakes, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for the month here. We are going to have another episode of Evolution up on the 24th, but everything's gearing up for a big October. You have not only Monster Pro Wrestling at the beginning of the month, but on the 21st of October, you have not only the Fright Night show for PWA in Edmonton, but it is going to be the debut in Alberta for the Canuck Pro promotion with their Without Honor show from the Highland Park Community Center in Calgary. Now, I'm going to get into this promotion a little bit more here next time I come up on the podcast here. But they have some really epic names here. Like, one of their main events is Dalton Castle versus Adam Page. You got Matt Taven versus Shane Taylor. Dalton Castle's Boys versus the Kingdom. And I'm just going through the list here. You got the Beer City Bruiser, Rhett Titus, and Son of Havoc and Flip Gordon. Just a tremendous list of names here. And like I said, I'm going to go a little bit more into detail on that coming up in the future weeks here. But get your tickets while you can here, folks. The Highland Park Community Center is a smaller venue, so tickets will be at a premium. Yes, they are at a premium cost, but I got a feeling they're definitely going to be worth it. I know that myself, I have booked tickets for the November shows there, and I will definitely get into those later on. But in terms of the network here, just waiting for another Sounds of Struggle and Jobbing Out with the Danimal show to come by my way so I could get them up for you. The next Quick Calls episode we're going to have is from this Saturday at the All or Nothing show from Festival Hall. I'm not sure who else is making it down. I think Brian will be down there with me as well, but I want to make a couple special announcements here right now. We're going to have a series of special announcements. Wow. You can tell it's been a while since I podcasted here. We're going to have a series of special events being announced. Our first one is going to be at the Quick Call show with PWA Fright Night on October 21st. That's going to introduce one of the newest shows to the network coming in 2018. And then I got two other special announcements coming up. The first on the Retribution show for Monster Pro Wrestling, the Quick Calls episode on November 4th. And then on November 17th, the Quick Call show from the Canuck Pro event in Calgary. I'm going to have a very special announcement in regards to the network as a whole here. So it's a big time here for Edmonton SPN, and we are definitely looking to expand, grow, and make ourselves better every time here. So just want to let everybody know that we are not just Edmonton anymore. So well, that's going to wrap up this episode of the Blown Call. Yes, I know it's strange that you're actually hearing one of these guys, and I'm not going to give you a guarantee when my next one's going to come up here. Like I said off the top of the show, I've been doing a lot of editing here. Hopefully I'll be able to come up with one in about 2 weeks' time, if not next week. I want to get a little bit into the NHL season and the NFL product as it goes, and a couple controversies that have come up in there as well. But this is Mike the Ref reminding you guys to be nice to your referees, because they definitely have a tough job to do. But they will come up with a blown call every once in a while, and this has been the Blown Call Show here on the Edmonton Sports Podcast Network.
This has been the Blown Call Show with your host, Mike the Ref, on the Edmonton Sports Podcast Network. For more information on all the network programming, search Edmonton Sports Podcast Network on iTunes, YouTube, and Facebook, or check out their website at edmontonspn.podbean.com.